Welcome to Teen Up, a podcast that digs deeper into the thoughts of teenagers' mind about the wonders of the world.
If you're new here, I'm your host, Isabella.
And I'm Glenn. If you're not, welcome back.
Here is a quick disclaimer. We are two teenagers that are doing our best to research everything. However, we are not experts, so if we offend anyone or say something wrong, we want to apologize in advance. Please email us to tell us what was wrong. Thank you.
This month, we are going to talk about the origin of the universe.
This is such a deep question that it's hard to wrap anyone's head around it. There are so many theories out there that it's hard to throw light on which one is true and which isn't. Each theory is made from your belief and is based on the facts that support your claim. The most commonly believed is the Big Bang Theory, and if you are religious, you may believe that God made the world with his hands. To begin unearthing this mystery, we are going to give our thoughts and understandings about this. So here we go. What do you think about this, Glenn?
Okay, so I think the world is built by, I wouldn't say aliens, but people from another dimension. So simply put, we're in a video game.
So you believe that our lives are controlled by others?
Kind of. I think we are living in a created world instead of like it just happened. I think our world is created by some other creature or things that we couldn't describe with words.
So perhaps this so-called fate is someone else.
Or maybe it's just programming.
That is interesting. So someone pre-programmed our everything, our whole universe.
I think that is true.
Wow.
Or they are playing this video game. So maybe the programmer put this climate change program as a challenge for that person.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay.
So we're all characters in the video game. That's what I think. Because it kind of makes sense.
So does the creator of the video game still exist?
I don't know. But I would think that they could live a lot longer than us. Right?
Oh, yeah.
Because when we're playing a video game, it's not going to take our whole life, right?
Yeah.
So the creator probably still exists.
That is such an interesting thought. Well, mine is very original. Everyone knows it. I believe in the Big Bang Theory. Yeah, I believe that there was like a thing that just like blew up and created our world or our universe that keeps on expanding over time.
See, that's the thing that I don't understand.
Why?
You talked about a thing that exploded.
Mm-hmm. Then what is that thing, right?
Yeah, that's why I'm always very skeptical about the Big Bang Theory. Because, I mean, I don't know what's the thing. And it's a theory, right? I mean, of course, there's like many proof for it. Like our universe is expanding.
Yeah, that one makes sense.
But then why does things just clutter together?
Isn't there like this theory if have you watched the movie Tenet?
No, I haven't. I heard people say that it's very like physics stuff.
Yes, it was talking about like entropy. Oh my god, this is getting so physics and chemistry. So the movie was talking about how entropy can be reversed.
Which is not a thing that we can do in our world.
Correct. But then if it is reversed, we're going to go back to the thing that exploded.
Right. That makes sense.
What is the thing?
That's everybody's question, I think.
Then what about your video game theory? Where is this creator? Like, where is that person or that soul or that brain? I don't know.
I guess because the reason that I believe there's like people controlling us or like we're in a video game, it's because we never really explored. Like we really don't know like what's beyond our universe. Is there an outside of the universe? Or like where does the thing that originally explode exists? Where is it?
Then wouldn't that be like very much like religion, how God created this universe?
Right. I mean, I haven't thought of it that way, but I think God, like, I don't think God has the vision of like this universe, like in the God's creation thing. there's no mentioning of the whole universe, right?
That is true. So you think that there's something beyond God?
I'm saying that
There's no God.
is God the beyond thing?
That is an interesting question.
Because maybe that is God. We're just referring it to God because we don't know what it is. And maybe somebody saw God because there's like this maintenance guy who came in and fixed our game.
Oh. But then you're not religious, right?
No, I'm not.
So you wouldn't call the creator of this video game God because
I mean, I could call that person God, but not in like the God sense.
Oh, okay. Okay, interesting. But then this only refers to like Catholic and Christians, like where there's only one God, right? Because if this refers to like other religions that believes in different gods at the same time, that wouldn't work.
Right. But I think there is definitely a creator of everything. Because think about the Big Bang Theory.
Where did the thing come from?
Yeah, it has to be created. I mean, that's what I think. And why I really believe the video game thing is because there's like this beyond universe thing explained.
Right. So like if like it's the Big Bang Theory, the thing, where did that thing exist? Like where, right? So you believe that there's something that's beyond our universe.
Yes, I do. Because before humans leave Earth, we thought we're in the center of the world.
Right.
And I just feel like there's too many things that we wouldn't know. Like there's no way we're gonna know. So I really think there's like some place beyond our universe.
Yeah, I do believe that too. Like I believe that it is the space our space is expanding, but like where is it expanding into? Like is there a limit? Is there like a limit to this space thing?
Or is it just like a void?
Yeah.
Have you seen this movie Interstellar?
Yes, I have.
I think in this movie it's saying that like the universe is in another space, like in this different dimension, and you can like go to the other side, which is like traveling in a different dimension.
Is there a time difference?
Actually, I don't know.
Wow, so interesting. This keeps me thinking about the world. Oh my god.
Why do you believe in the Big Bang Theory though?
It is the one that I believe most people think, and I'm part of that majority. So and it is the one that is explained by science the most, and it explains the expanding universe. Although I don't know I don't know about the thing that exploded, like where that came from, but it is the one that has the most explanation that is based on science, and I believe science very much. I don't believe in the God's creation and your video game theory because we can't know where this person is, and there's just nothing to prove that it's there.
Right. That makes sense. I really wonder, can we know like the thoughts of an ant?
What do you mean? I don't think so.
Because what does an ant think, right? It's mostly moving on a two-dimensional plane.
Why?
Like, why do I say that? Is because I'm thinking that maybe we're like the ant. So we're like in this another world, but we're so tiny or like so something. We don't know what's that world. And so maybe we're just existing in that like space, but we couldn't see beyond our dimension. So we would never know it.
Right. So you're saying that you believe that we can never know what's past our universe.
Yes, I do think that is going to be the limit.
What if each universe only has one type of living?
What do you mean?
Like, what if there are multiple universe? And in our universe, there's only like one planet that has things that like living things, and another universe may have like life as well, but the way they represent life is not like us. We need to breathe, we need like water, oxygen, and stuff like that. But in the other universe, those maybe aliens, they don't live like us. Maybe they don't need water to survive.
I think that's another argument. It's saying that if one day we actually created intelligence, like AI, that can like actually think like us. And if that AI creates their own AI, then we will have a very bad chance that we are created and we're like in a computer program. I think that's somebody's argument.
Oh my God, that makes total sense.
But the good thing is that it's not happening yet.
Oh my God. Wait, that totally makes sense. And it is shocking to me. I don't want to be created. I just want to. But what about like the evolution of like, biology and stuff? Like,
I don't know. I always felt weird about it because humans are so complicated.
Right.
We're like, or too complicated to be from like a plant. It is just, I would say that I'm not like, don't believe, like I'm not believing in the evolution. And I actually think the evolution makes sense. But it's just very hard to wrap my head around it. Because it's so, I wouldn't say amazing, but it's so complicated or so weird that, say, we're from a monkey, but what's the force that drives us from being a monkey to being a human?
Right. Like, perhaps, I don't know what the age is, but like maybe monkeys are, their intelligence is like up to a child's age, like 7 or 8 years old. But our brain continues to grow and monkeys are just stopped at that point. And why is that, right?
I think it's not very related to the origin of the universe, but it's related to the origin of our life, which could maybe leads us to the origin of the universe. Like, I feel like, where does human come from? That is the original question. And that is also the question that we want to ask. Like, where do we come from? And so it's like in different ways. Like, where does our universe come from? Or like, where do we, like, biologically come from? It's like two different ways to look at it.
Wow, I don't even think that I should believe science anymore. This is way beyond what science can explain.
I mean,
I honestly do believe that.
I mean, they do have explanations for that. Some of it.
But not all.
There's just like this one crucial question, like this simple question. Where do we come from? Like, it's still not very answered yet.
Right. It is way beyond our minds. Like, wow, if there's like this scientist that can answer this question, I'd love that person. Wow. I don't know. That is a big question. This thing is really complicated. I wonder what the scientists say, what type of other theories there are. So why don't we do that?
After the break, we'll be talking about the Big Bang Theory. Welcome back. In the previous section, we talked about our thoughts and what we think about the origin of the universe is. And now, after some research, I'm going to talk about the Big Bang Theory.
Okay, so tell us about it, Glenn.
So, this thing that we talked about in the previous section, it actually has a name, and it's called singularity.
Oh,
So, this singularity is kind of like a point with infinite density. So, it's like very heavy, and it has all the energy and mass in the world. So, basically, our whole universe is in that singularity. So people actually think of the Big Bang because they saw that our universe was expanding and is still expanding. And so they think if they can go back in time, it's probably going to be one tiny point. Okay, so after the Big Bang, things start expanding, right?
Right.
So that happened around 13.8 billion years ago, which is a long time ago. And okay, so now I'm gonna deviate from talking about the Big Bang for a second. So we all know that there are 4 forces in our world, right? Do you know that?
What 4 forces?
Oh, so it's physics stuff. There are strong force, weak force, electromagnetic force, and gravitational force.
We've learned about that in school, right?
Yeah, so it's 4 basic forces, and all forces in the world are these 4 forces. Wow, that is a lot of F's. So these 4 forces are actually one force, kind of, at the start of the universe. So first, gravitational force broke off. And so it was gravitational force and other force that is later going to become other forces. So gravitational force broke off. And then the next one is strong force. So strong force is the force that interacts with really tiny particles like protons and neutrons. Strong force is the force that pulls them together in an atom.
Okay.
Okay, so we all know about protons and neutrons. It's in our science class, right?
Yes.
It's basically some particles inside a atom and its nuclei. Anyways, I am deviating too much. I'm going to go back to the force breaking off. So the second one is strong force, right? And then electromagnetic force and weak force split. So it became the 4 forces that we all know today.
Okay.
So just to explain, I think we all know about gravity.
Right.
And then we have electromagnetic force, which it's just like magnets. That's electromagnetic force.
Right.
And then we have weak force, which is only seen in also particles, like really tiny particles.
So it's weaker than strong force between the protons and neutrons.
Not exactly. I think weak force has something to do with decay, which is not the topic we're talking about today.
Okay.
So these 4 forces are seen in the matters that will form later in the Big Bang. So after 4 forces became 4 forces, there is only quarks in the universe.
What are quarks?
So quarks are little particles, and quarks are the particles that are smaller than neutrons and protons. And these quarks, different quarks, will combine and become, say, protons and neutrons and other particles. So these quarks are particles that are smaller than protons and neutrons. And at this state, the universe is still very hot.
Right.
So basically, all the matters and energy can transfer between each other. It means that there's no really a matter yet, because everything is just transferring into each other.
So this is when singularity was still a singularity?
It start expanding already.
Oh, so it's after the Big Bang.
Yep, after the Big Bang.
Okay.
So at this point, like how long do you think it is?
It's been like, I don't know, 1 billion year. Does that even make sense? I don't know.
Actually, for the things that I just talked about, it only took a few minutes.
Wow.
I know, right? It's crazy. I was really shocked at this. So it took only a few minutes for all these to happen. And around this time, matter starts to form. So at this time, we have deuterium.
What is that?
Which is an isotope of helium. We know isotope, right?
No.
Okay, so isotopes are matters that has the same proton number, but different neutron numbers.
Okay.
Okay, this is not very important. So we all know that we have deuterium and helium at this point. But most particles are still quarks or energy. So about 400,000 years later, the universe is finally cool enough to form atoms.
So it only took a few minutes to form the four forces and creating protons and neutrons, but it took 400,000 years to just form atoms?
It's like the first protons and neutrons appeared, but they are not really stable yet.
Oh, okay.
So they can't form into an atom. Okay, so these atoms are mostly hydrogen. So we have all these hydrogens, right?
Right.
And these hydrogen will then later form into bigger atoms or like heavier matters, which are things that we all see today. We have the periodic table.
Right.
So these atoms will undergo nuclear fusion and then it will form heavier matters. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yes.
And then things are just like keep expanding and things start to clutter together and forms galaxy and, planets and stuff that became the universe we know today.
Oh, wow.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
So that's basically the Big Bang Theory. And people actually have proof for that. Now I'm going to explain how people prove that the Big Bang Theory is correct. So one thing is that they discovered that things are moving away from us.
So how do these scientists know that everything is moving away from everything?
So, we see things, right?
Right.
And when we see things, there has to be light. So light is kind of like a wave.
Right.
So these planets or things, like galaxies, are moving away from us and they will emit lights.
Okay.
Okay, so these lights will take, millions of years to reach Earth. And during this period, our universe is expanding.
Right.
So the space between two planets or two whatever is also expanding.
Oh,
And these wavelengths will change. They will be stretched, so the color we see will be different. So do you know about the spectrum?
The light spectrum?
The color spectrum, kind of.
Okay, could you explain further?
Okay, so we have rainbow, right?
Right.
Which is from red to purple.
Right.
So on the purple end, the wavelength is the shortest. And on the red end, the wavelength is the longest. So the scientists called this wavelength stretching thing the red shift.
Okay.
It's because the wavelength is stretched, so the color of things will shift to the red end of the spectrum.
Okay, so what you mean by this is that before the galaxy emitted purple light, but now it's slowly moving to red.
Yes, but it's the galaxy that we're observing. Like the light it emits, it's shifting towards the red end.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so that's the first proof of the Big Bang Theory because we know that things are moving away from us. So people will start wondering. We can see light that are, because the light we see are from millions of years ago, right?
Right, but the Big Bang happened 13.8 billion years ago.
Yeah, so people start wondering, can we see lights from that period?
Oh, okay.
Right? That makes sense because if we can see that, then we would know what the Big Bang is.
Right.
But there's a catch. So we can't really see light because there isn't really light yet.
So it was a complete void when the Big Bang happened.
So we will get to the void part later.
Okay.
But just bear in mind, there is no light yet.
Okay.
So after a period of time, light appeared.
Right.
And we can still actually observe light from that period.
Okay.
But it's not actually light anymore.
What is it then?
These lights has become microwaves.
Could you explain what microwaves are?
Okay, so after red,
Right.
it will become infrared wavelength. So after that, we have microwave. So it's basically longer wavelength because it's been forever. So the wavelength is just longer than red. So it's become microwaves.
Okay.
And these microwaves can be observed as radiation. So the scientists call this cosmic microwave background radiation. So they actually discovered this and start calculating it, and it fits perfectly with the Big Bang Theory's model.
Oh, wow. So it is from 13.8 billion years ago.
Well, it's not actually from that long time ago because there isn't light, but like it's from when they predict there's light, because they can calculate like when they can use the how much it has shifted, like the wavelength has expanded to calculate how long ago it was from.
Oh, okay.
That was kind of cool. So that's two main proof of the Big Bang Theory. And
So when you said that everything is moving away, what's the speed? Is it slowing down or speeding up?
so the universe is actually speeding up. But this sounds actually kind of weird to the scientists before. They thought the world is slowing down.
So when they thought it was slowing down, was it because the energy was getting less and less as it expands?
So they say it's slowing down because they think there are many planets, many galaxies, right?
Right.
And they think that it will slow down because there is gravitational force that will pull all these together, which makes the expansion slower. But then they discover that the universe is speeding up, and they think that there's like this kind of dark energy or dark matter that's making the universe speeding up. So when the universe is speeding up, like the expansion, when the expansion is speeding up,
Right.
it actually means that the visible distance that we can see, like how far away we can see, is getting smaller. Because light needs time to travel.
Right.
And when everything is moving away faster and faster, light just couldn't catch up anymore. So eventually it means that distance we can observe would get smaller.
Oh, okay.
I think that's pretty interesting.
Yeah. Okay, I get that. Okay.
Okay, so
Another question here. The universe. Where exactly is the universe? Like, is there a limit, or what is beyond the universe? Like,
yeah, this was my question. Like in the previous part, right?
right.
So I searched it, and people were actually saying that the universe is space itself.
Right.
So space is universe. Like there is no space outside the universe. The universe is everything. It is weird, I know.
It's so hard to conceive. Wow.
I know, but people are saying that, and I guess this is their theory. So I guess we would have to go with that.
Okay, so if the universe is space itself, what is before the Big Bang, before the universe started expanding?
So people have different theories about it. They don't actually know. So one theory is saying that our universe is actually from a universe that existed before. And there's like a black hole that just sucks everything in. And it eventually becomes back to the singularity that we knew earlier. That was one theory. Because everything got sucked into it, and the mess will like be infinite.
Wait, so are you saying like the black hole is sort of reversing entropy?
I'm not sure. So I guess at this point, I would say the Big Bang Theory sounds pretty solid to me.
Yeah, it sounds totally true to me too.
I mean, they have like this singularity, they have this redshift thing. It just sounds very solid, and I feel like maybe I will start believing in the Big Bang Theory.
Right. And it is very widely accepted. So.
And like most people believe in the Big Bang Theory. And they do that for a reason, because it is very well backed.
Right.
Except for a few things that are like, what's before the Big Bang? Or how will the universe end?
So the void you talked about, the nothing beyond the universe. People back in history have also thought of this question for thousands of years. They have created their own myths about it and talking about the void, the darkness beyond the universe. That is what we're going to talk about for our next episode.
So next week, we will be exploring the theories in different religion and myth in different cultures.
Thank you for listening to this episode.
We will upload a new episode every Thursday.
Remember to like, follow, and share our podcast with your friends and family.
You could also share your ideas and thoughts with us on our Instagram @teenup.podcast. You could find us on multiple platforms such as Spotify, Apple Podcast, and more.
Thank you and bye.